It's time for a feast, time to celebrate what you're thankful for. Not only the food on your table, but the people around you. But what happens when those two things are actually one and the same?
What's that? You want to be scared? Come with me. You will experience tales of horror, ghosts, and death. It is not recommended for the weak at heart. Listen in the dark. It's more fun that way. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for a little spooky in your weekly. And this year we'll be spending a very scary holiday with our favorite master vampire, Bella Tabon. But before we get to that, I want to say something I am truly thankful for, and that's you listening. The listenership on this program has been incredible. Watching it grow and change and hearing from you when you send in emails or comment on Spotify, it's incredible to see so many people come together because they love scary stories. I mean, I love them. That's why I show up here every week and beyond. And speaking of, this holiday season, there's going to be a whole lot of content. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcasting app. And while you're at it, why not leave us a 5-star rating at Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you haven't already? We'll have bonus episodes, exclusive novellas, and free audiobooks, along with the scary story every Wednesday that you've grown accustomed to, and Terrifying and True on Mondays. So, don't go anywhere. There's a whole lot for you to enjoy coming right up here at Weekly Spooky. But now, my friends, it's about time we really celebrate what we're thankful for. And I think many of you would agree that you're thankful for the town of Strickfield, for the world that Rob Fields has developed for us here at Weekly Spooky. I know I'm thankful for it because I love reading every story that comes in and collaborating with Rob on them. So, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go visit your old relatives way out in Strickfield, Ohio. We'll be starting this scary story in just a moment. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. Can't start Christmas shopping too early. Homecoming by Rob Fields. Perspective, Bella. Einny and I couldn't get out of Strickfield High School fast enough. As soon as that bell to end the school day rang, Einny and I shot up out of our seats and were right out the side doors. "We're really going to do this, Bells?" she asks me in her mousy voice. "What, get the fuck out of Strickfield for Thanksgiving? You damn betcha." I raise my finger. I haven't even told you the best part. You keep saying it's going to be a surprise. Well, prepare to be surprised, Einny. I open my mouth to tell her, but it seems Einny's hearing me speak with the voice of Principal Matthew Van Diest. "Bella Tabon, you stop right there, right there!" I sigh and look up to the cloudy sky and mutter, "God damn it." Then I lower my eyes to see our esteemed school leader marching right at Einny and me. I give him a very toothy smile. "Why, Matthew, how the hell are you today?" Principal Van Diest sticks his finger right in my face. "You are supposed to be walking to detention hall right now. You are not going to just walk on home like you... I swear, all day every student and teacher has been gawking at my new outfit. I'm wearing a black leather crop top that kinda looks like a bra and matching short shorts. I actually took Einny's advice and wore a pair of her heeled platform sandals. My long, dirty blonde hair almost flows like a cape in the breeze. I'm still smiling for him. As always, he's undressing me with his eyes. Thanks to my vampire hearing, I can hear his heart pounding. Why do you have to be so madly in love with me, Matthew? I'm thinking. Problem is, I don't really have any room to talk. I can't deny there's the very real possibility that I reciprocate his feelings. Heavy sigh. Why me? Well, Matthew, I think we both know I ain't going anywhere near detention hall, I tell him flatly. Then I raise my finger. But I'll be more than happy to... No, Bella, you have to get back in there and serve it right now, Van Diest tells me. I caught you red-handed flipping a teacher off, even if his back was turned to you. Now I laugh and flip him off. How many times have I done this very thing to you? You never once gave me a detention for it. Yet, I flip off that fucking blowhard of a science teacher, and you're gonna send me to detention for that? Please. Van Diest starts lecturing me. I move my hands up and into my hair. Now he's stammering when I'm using my tight body to mesmerize him. Okay, I admit I'm being a flirt, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enjoying it just as much as him. When I lower my hands, he grabs them and takes them in his. His blue eyes meet my red ones. I actually feel myself soften up and my face get hot. Damn it, I'm fucking blushing. Then Einny quickly tells Van Diest that she's not feeling very well and that I've got to get her home. I give him my look that says, she ain't lying. Come on, just for today, Matthew, I say. I promise I'll serve it on Monday after school before going to cheerleading practice. But I've got to get Einny home, please. When he still seems to refuse me, I have no choice. I lean in and give him a gentle peck on the lips. Bad move, Bella. That just made you blush even more. But at least Van Diest is finally letting go of my hands. Only to wrap his arms around me. I can't help myself and wrap my arms around him. Then we share a gentle, passionate kiss. When the kiss is done, we just look at each other. My face is really hot now. Okay, Bella, since it's Thanksgiving, I'll give you a pass. This time. He glances at Einny. Go ahead and get her home. Then he does look at her. Hope you get better over Thanksgiving break. Thank you, sir, Einny says. Einny and I turn away from Van Diest after wishing him a happy Thanksgiving. I can tell she's going to give me hell about kissing Van Diest later. How are you feeling? I ask her. I'll make it home, but I think I've got a fever, she tells me. I've got one last treatment I can try that may make you well again for a time, but I don't know how long it'll last. I just wish my body didn't build tolerances against your remedies, Einny complains. You and me both. Einny's a trooper and makes the walk home. We come inside and see Martin's not here. That's Einny's older brother. Always nice when that motherfucker ain't home. The way Einny resents Martin, I've come to believe he's the reason why she's sick. After I get Einny upstairs to her bed, I come back downstairs and mix up the last remedy I can remember Graham's teaching me from back in the day. Of course, I'm talking about the late 1800s, where I'm originally from. Graham's taught me a lot about using Tabon magic. My older brother Nicholas wasn't interested in learning from Graham's, and I tighten my fists at the thought of her. God damn you, Cassie, I hiss. I fucking hate you. I'm so fucking glad you're dead. I would tell you about Cassie, but now's not really the best time. Anyway, she really wasn't interested in learning from Graham's either. Since I was the little devil in our family, I figured learning from Graham's would add to my craftiness even more. I learned so much from her, but not nearly enough since the day came when Thornton Gillian, a powerful master vampire, came hunting for us. Nicholas got really fucking overconfident and thought he could take down Gillian by himself. I know he was my older brother, but what an idiot. And Cassie never lifted a finger to help Nicholas. She even watched as Gillian killed Gramps. Gramps and I both tried to fight him off as Cassie just walked away. Gillian killed Gramps and then beat me within an inch of my life. Thornton Gillian deliberately let me live. He said I would be the last Tabon and for me to go find a husband to rule over me and make babies with. He told me next time we crossed paths, he would kill me. Graham's magic lessons came in handy when I prepared to fight him myself after months and months of training, not to mention having to sleep with a female master vampire just to learn his whereabouts. I barely defeated Jillian thanks to the lessons both Grams and Gramps taught me, but I was hurt very badly. When I fell, Jillian's blood mixed with my pure Tabon blood and transformed me into a very unique version of a master vampire. I've lived for more than 100 years being all alone, except when I'd need a man to satisfy my libido. Not only did Jillian's blood amp up my sex drive, it made me feral. This is why I dress very slutty all the time. Then there's all the food I eat in order to fuel my power, and I am very powerful. Then I cry, knowing Einny ain't nearby to see me. Aileen Donnerly is the only real friend I have right now. I call her Einny because it's short for Einstein. Her older brother Martin called her that on account of her very gifted intelligence. Anyway, we didn't start off as friends, but the longer the two of us hung out together and did things, the closer we became, especially when I learned she was sick. In truth, Einny probably should have been dead months ago. It was the remedies I learned from Grams that prolonged her life. I believe Einny has AIDS. How she got it, I don't know. She hasn't told me as of yet, but I feel she will when she's ready. Again, I'm quite sure Martin was responsible. No, he didn't give it to her himself, but he must have done something that caused her to become sick. I've never cried for someone the way I'm crying for Einny. Not since my grandparents died. And for the record, we ain't lovers. That's not how our friendship works. I just know I've gotten too close to this mortal, especially when I said I would never become close to any mortals after I became a master vampire. But it happened, you know? I get the crying out of my system and finish the remedy. This one I remembered out of Graham's book is the most powerful one yet. It's also the last one I know. It's time to give Einny the remedy and spring the surprise on her. I head up to her room and find her waiting for me. You okay, Bells? Shit. I never wiped my tears. It's nothing, Einny. Here, I created these new capsules for you. It's powerful stuff. Start off with one and we'll go from there. Einny obeys and takes a capsule with water. After minutes have passed, she starts feeling much better. Then I look at her. I'm taking you home for Thanksgiving. She gives me wide eyes. Your house? I nod. I need to go look through Graham's books for more remedies and possible spells that may help you. I don't know how long this last one will last, and I don't know any more remedies at all. Don't worry, we'll be back here in Strickfield in time to return to school on Monday. Also, I'll make us a hell of a Thanksgiving dinner, just the way Grams used to. We'll just have to do some shopping along the way. Einny smiles just a little. Okay, when are we leaving? As soon as possible, if you feel well enough. She gets out of bed. I'm feeling much better now. Let's go. Anything beats having to stay here with Martin. We didn't have any problems getting a rental car. Thankfully, the place we get them never asks for a driver's license since neither Einny nor me has one. Neither of us learned how to drive. Actually, scratch that. When Einny and I went to Shore City over the summer, I had to learn, and fast. Now I'm driving a good 100 miles an hour. Seriously, fuck these stupid speed limits. It took a few seconds to get used to this car. After that, it was like riding a bike. No, scratch that. I've never even ridden a bike. Yeah, I'm not used to a lot of modern technology. This little devil is as old school as can be, as Einny will learn soon. Along the way, we made some stops. I had to buy lots and lots of turkeys and plenty of stuff to make the sides. I promised Einny a meal like Grams made, and I'm going to give it to her. After driving hundreds of miles, I surprise Einny by turning off the headlights. Bells? Einny mutters. Trust me, I tell her. My house is off the beaten path, literally. A good 5 miles later, I turn off the road and am driving through the grass. Thanks to my vampire vision, I don't have any problem seeing in the darkness whatsoever. What time is it? I ask. Einny takes out her smartphone. Almost midnight. Are we really going to be off the road? I'm afraid so. You see, my house doesn't have a road or a driveway. Never did. I lightly smack her shoulder. Have faith. It's another 15 or so minutes of driving until we're finally there. Wow, there really is a house here, Einny asks. It's dark, but I can see how big it is. It's not a mansion like what those Mirrans back in Strickfield have, but this is where Gramps and Grams raised me. Also, I was born here. As soon as we get out of the car, I move around to Einny and give her a jar. It lights up in her hands. It's liquid sunlight. Against Thornton Gillian that night, it proved to be a very powerful weapon. But in your hands, it'll be the brightest lantern you've ever carried. Don't worry. It won't burn you as long as it stays in the jar. Where are we, Bells? She asks me. This is the area known as Ravenhenge, I tell her. You'll never find it on any map. In fact, the barriers of invisibility keep it so that outsiders can't see it whatsoever. The only reason you can is because you're with me. I bring Einny into the house. The only way to turn on any lights is to use my cheap parlor tricks to light torches. Wow, Einny exclaims. It's like going back in time. You'd better believe it. Also, your smartphone's the only modern convenience you got here. I'm surprised you're even getting any signal here. Anyway, there's no phone line and no internet. There ain't even TV here. In fact, the last time I was at this house was back in 1889. Einny gulps. I can't believe you really grew up here, Bells. I mean, it seems like you and your family were cut off from the rest of the world. Okay, maybe that's the wrong thing to say and everything, but no, you're right, Einny, I confirm. That's exactly what Iomir Tabon had in mind when this house was built. Let's just say he's my Gramps, but with a lot of greats in front of it. I turn to her. So, you want me to give you the grand tour, or are you tired from the drive? If you need to sleep, I'll take you to the most comfortable bed you'll ever sleep on.
Don't go away. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
Perspective. Aileen. At first, I was contemplating maybe going to bed. However, I'm actually feeling pretty good still. Whatever you whipped up back at my house is still making me feel strong. I'd love to see your house, Bells. She nods once. Okay, you're in for quite the tour. Carry your liquid sunlight with you if you want, but I can light more torches as we go through the rooms. We'll end our tour in the library. Bells takes me through one magnificent room after another. The house has 2 big floors. All of the bedrooms are upstairs. Much to my surprise, not everything is old school. For example, the bathrooms we come by have running water. There are even showers in a few of them, with tubs in the others. I can give you a room by one of these bathrooms if you want. This way you're by a shower, Bells said, seeing my excitement. Yeah, we may be as old school can be, but we weren't cave people. I never said you were, I quickly say. Einny, lighten up. Just a little humor on my part. I could tell Bells was avoiding talking about it, but I have to know. You kissed Principal Van Diest. She sighs. I know, I'm sorry. She turns to look at me. I still won't choose him over you. But you still have feelings for him, I state. Again, I'm sorry. She looks me in the face now. I'll never understand why we love each other. I'm just one fucking girl at Strickfield High. I'm the bad schoolgirl. One fucking girl out of all those others, and he falls in love with me. Then she cries. I put a gentle hand on her shoulder. Bells, I really didn't want you to see me like this, she whispers. As much as I torture that worm of a man, and as much as I try to forget him by fucking other guys at school, I still care for him a lot. You know, I told Grams I'd never be bound to another man. Know what she said? Once you've met the one, your fate shall be joined with his, until death do you part. Grams was wise in many things. She takes her hand off my shoulder, then turns her back to me and shouts, "But why does my one have to be a fucking worm of a man?" "Bells?" I ask. "Are you okay?" She turns back to me. "I just wanted to get us the hell away from that school and not have to serve detention. Plus, I could tell you weren't feeling good. That's why I kissed him, Einny. But, fuck," she sighs. "Your friendship means far more to me than being Matthew Van Diest's soulmate." I tighten my fists. "Just answer me truthfully, Bells. Do you really love him in the same way he loves you?" Tears run down her face again. "Yes," she chokes out. "I'm sorry." A long pause. Bells speaks up again. "Once again, I won't choose him over you." "But what if your feelings get to be too strong?" I demand sharply. "I've seen how Van Diest looks at you. How long before you're both ready to come together again? Especially when you've kissed him the way you did again. Van Diest being with you is forbidden." Bells tightens her fists now. "You think I don't know that, Aileen Donnerly? Be pissed at me all you want. I know having Thornton Gillian's blood mixed with my own gave me a very high libido and made me feral in a lot of ways, but I can still think rationally and feel emotions. I didn't want to feel anything after Gillian killed the rest of my family. And for years, I did very well. Then I met Martin. And you. I never imagined we'd become as close as we are now. We're not lovers, but we've got a connection between us. Yes, Einny, I fell in love with our fucking principal. I can't just shut my emotions off. You got pissed at me about it when we faced down that succubus. Be pissed at me all you want. But I can't help how I feel. I love him. Again, we have a long silence between us. Then I'm crying myself. And what happens if you finally succeed in curing me? Do you leave Strickfield like you've always wanted? Or is this your plan? You stay here and never return? Bells points very sharply at me now. How dare you? She tightens her fists again. I'm trying to cure you because it's the right thing to do. Do you honestly think I'd be that fucking cruel to you? Is that why you're so fucking pissed off about Van Diest? You think I'll just go and share my life with him and forget all about you? Are you that afraid of losing me, Aileen? Yes, I fucking hate Strickfield. Hate it. I could have left any time I wanted. But I remained there because of you and our friendship. What more do you want from me? Then Bells backs up against a wall, sinks to a sitting position, and cries again. I turn and walk away from Bells. Why does this happen? She and I have been with each other for many months since that first wintry night she came to Strickfield. In the beginning, I wanted her to stay here to be with my older brother Martin and keep him honest. But who am I kidding? There's no keeping mean Martin honest. I tried to be the supportive and loving sister, but again, he'll always be mean Martin. I walk outside and eventually leave the property. I still have the liquid sunlight in my hands. Then I cry again. Bells is right. I am afraid of losing her, just like I know I'm losing my life. Bells is trying so hard to cure me of my affliction. That's why she brought me here, right? I know nothing lasts forever, not even life. I've never really had any friends. I envy my twin cousin Madeline and her circle of friends, but she does come and see me. Yet, I'm so insecure. I guess that's how you feel when you've been picked on all your life. When you got beat up a lot for being smart. When people look at you and think you're just as bad as your own big brother. When you end up becoming sick because your big brother goes to a party and can't keep it in his pants when some drunk girl throws herself at him. I'm so raving mad now that I look up at the sky. I fucking hate you, Martin! I fall to my knees, then onto my side. Then I sob again because I may have just thrown away the one good thing in my life. Bells was the only true friend I ever had. She's right, though. We're not lovers. We just developed a deep bond of friendship between us. I even wanted to help Bells when she'd go out at night, so I started making our toys to fight supernatural enemies. She was even teaching me how to fight. Why do I mess things up between me and Bells? Just then I hear movement on the grass and quickly sit up. Bells? Is that you? I pick up my liquid sunlight. Who's there? When I see them, I quickly turn and run. Problem is, being a petite and skinny girl, I'm not very athletic and I can't run fast. Next thing I know, a hand goes around my mouth and a big hairy arm goes around me. Oh my God! The stench! I can't scream for help as I'm being held against what I'm thinking is a giant. And he really stinks. Next thing I know, another giant of a man hits me on the head. I groan and am dazed. I'm about to be placed into his sack and am kicking my little legs to try and fight back. I get hit again and fade to black as I'm being dropped into the sack. I'm so sorry, Bells. Perspective. Bella. I finish crying and stand up. I fucking hate it that I love Van Diest. I can't help the way I feel, and it's driving a wedge between me and Einny. Graham's always had lots of advice to give me. In fact, I know what she'd say to me right now. You never abandon your true friends, Bella. Likewise, they'll never abandon you. But you did abandon me, didn't you, Einny? Still, Graham's words keep echoing in my mind again and again. No, I gotta find her and talk things out. I gotta make her understand that she'll never lose me as a friend, even after I succeed in curing her illness. I walk out the back door and shout, Einny! Where are you? I walk out to the barn. I'm surprised it still looks nicely preserved and is still standing after all these years. The house, too. I walk into the barn, but I know Einny hasn't been in here. Then I remember I have her scent. When you've been around your best friend long enough, you'll never forget what she smells like. Or her fucking brother, for that matter. I leave the barn and go out to the big fire pit, which is where I'm planning to cook all those Thanksgiving turkeys. I take a nice whiff and have her scent. I look past the vast backyard and start following her. Before long, I see some bright light and move to it. I see the jar of liquid sunlight that I gave Einny. What the fuck is it doing laying all the way out here in the grass? I'm about to call out to her again when I pick up new scents. I can still smell Einny, but I can also smell... Ugh! Yeah, I smell two very stinky scents. I'd rather not describe the smells. Use your imagination. Being Einny's scent is mixed in, I can only assume something or someone found and snatched her. Okay, Time to bitch up and find my best friend. And I'll tell you all right motherfucking now that whoever's got Einny's gonna wish they'd never been born. Perspective. Aileen. I moan a little and finally manage to shake off the cobwebs as I wake up and see I'm all tied up and gagged on a cot. Where am I? I can see the only source of light is the big fire pit in the middle of the... Best I can describe it is the equivalent of a kitchen. My eyes get wide fast when I see there are both human and animal bones everywhere. Now I see two very huge things looking at a weathered cookbook. They're looking at a picture of a turkey. Then one of them points at me. These things are planning to have me for Thanksgiving dinner. Seriously, why does life have to be so hard? All I want to do is live mine. Then I learned monsters are real and hoped and prayed they'd just leave me alone. All I can think of through all this is how my brother Martin is an even worse monster than these two. I can see more of them now. These things are huge. I'm talking as huge as the comic book versions of the Incredible Hulk were. Yeah, I'm scared of dying, but I think I'm even more scared of these things. But again, my older brother scares me more than them. What am I going to do here? Calm down, Aileen. Just think about this for a minute. Mean Martin calls you Einstein to be cruel, but you've been using that big brain of yours and making Einstein work for you. Use that big brain now. I can see that I'm lying down. I turn myself over and fall on the floor. Then I keep turning over until I reach the wall and can stand up. I have to be careful not to let those things hear me. Shit. I accidentally knock over something that makes a loud clang. Those things turn to me and are on me again. One of them lifts me up by my ropes and holds the knife to my face, practically the size of a sword. Then he utters a bunch of groans. If he expects me to understand him, my brain isn't that big. On top of that, I cannot overstate the stink. I have to fight back the urge to puke. God, I am so dead.
More scares to come. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
I see my opening when he lowers me. I quickly swing my legs together like being on a swing set and kick at his groin with both feet as hard as I can. The thing groans in pain and falls to his knees. I end up on my feet and know the other one is right behind me. Then I remember a trick that Cousin Madeline does. I drop to my knees and scurry in between the thing's legs. When he turns around, I go through his legs again. I spring back to my feet and jump fast. I hear the thing roaring and coming after me. If I can't find a way to get free, I'm done for. My life can't end like this. Please, not like this. Then I come right to a big open circle that's supposed to serve as a window. There's a chair right next to it. I quickly jump up onto the chair and then dive through the window. I hit the dead, overgrown grass below before I get back up and keep running. Boy, do I ever make that thing mad. He roars really loud. I have to keep moving. He can't get through the window, but he can still walk through the doors. And then both of those things are outside when one of them bursts right through. I keep jumping fast until I come to the barn. I duck inside and jump some more until I find some tall hay to hide in. My eyes open wide when I see I came very close to landing on a sickle. I turn it and start rubbing the ropes against the blade. Problem is, the blade is very dull. It's going to take some time to get through these ropes, and time is not a luxury I have right now. I hear those things coming in and have to stop when they're near where I'm hiding. They both yell in frustration. Sounds like they're a bit on the slow side. I make myself stay calm and work on the ropes binding my wrists. My eyes open wide when I feel those ropes slipping away. Guess they either didn't tie the rope good enough there or they underestimated how little I am. Very quietly, I work to untie the rest of the ropes. Wouldn't you know it? No sooner do I get the last rope off, one of them looks in and sees me. He points at me and cries out loud. "Shit!" I shriek, actually more like a loud, mousy wail. I scream when the thing that saw me tries jumping on me. I quickly turn over so he lands flat on his belly. When the other one tries picking me up again, I swing my legs and catch him in his groin again. He drops me as he's dropping down to his knees. I get up and run like hell. As soon as I'm about to clear the barn, one of the things bursts right through it and almost grabs me. I scream and run with everything I've got back to the house. I dive through another window and look around. I keep running through the other rooms to try looking for another window. Just as I'm about to climb out through one, a big, hairy, and stinky hand grabs me. "No! No!" Then the thing that caught me brings me right up to him and screams right in my face. Ugh! He's spitting all over me, and his bad breath nearly makes me pass out. I growl and start kicking and punching with my little fists and feet. Want to hear some irony? Back when I was in Strickfield Junior High, people called me Mouse, just like they call my cousin Madeline today. The difference between me and her was that I hated it, and the other students knew it. Maddie's really laid back and doesn't care one way or another. I am so mad right now. Then I pull off another mouse kind of move and bring my feet up to kick the thing right in the eyes. He screams and drops me. I get up and run only to feel something hit me hard on the back of the head. Everything's spinning when I fall on my side fast. Then I feel the other thing lifting me up and patting me, knowing he's finally got me. I'm shaking my head to clear the cobwebs, but he hit me real good. By the time I finally shake the cobwebs, I feel a big stick at my back and heat on my front. Those things have me tied to a big stick, and they're turning me over the fire like a rotisserie. They're really cooking me alive. I'm so screwed. "Hi guys, what's for dinner?" Then I feel the absolute biggest excitement I've ever felt in my life. "Bells!" When the things turn and see Bells, they look at her and start growling happily, like they struck it rich with another morsel they can eat. Perspective. Bella. As soon as those big motherfuckers see me, I stretch myself to let them hear my bones cracking. Yeah, I'm definitely ready for a fight. "Really? You're cooking that scrawny little thing for your Thanksgiving dinner?" Then I chuckle. There's hardly any meat on those bones. Or mine, for that matter. The things roar and come at me. As they stupidly jump, I use my vampiric powers and warp right to Einny. I quickly break the ropes and snatch her to me. "You came for me, Bells," she squeaks happily. "Duh," I tell her. "I promised you a big Thanksgiving dinner. Not that you'd be dinner." "Look out!" Einny warns me. I grab her and warp us both to the door. I hand her the liquid sunlight. "Haul ass back to the house. I'll be right behind you." As soon as Einny turns and runs, I quickly run outside myself. Those things are hot after me now. I leap to put some distance in between me and those things before turning to face them. I give them my evil smirk. "You fuckers want this little devil? Come and get me then." It's been a little bit since I've had a good fight. They roar and come at me. When the closest one reaches me, I leap up and pop him hard in the face. He drops over like a freshly cut tree. When the other one's on me, I easily lift him up over my head and throw him back into his house. Yeah, these fuckers are easily 400 pounds plus and a good 8 feet tall. When they try coming at me again, I use my cheap parlor tricks and cause a wall of fire to erupt in between me and them. "Don't test me, motherfuckers," I warn them. But they can't understand me, can they? They keep coming for me. I'm just toying with those things right now. For the record, These two are definitely dying for all the innocent people they've killed. Yeah, I saw all the human bones in their house. And then there's the fact that they were gonna eat Einny. The fuckers come through my firewall. Your funeral, I tell them. Suddenly, Einny comes right up beside me. Boy, is she really pissed. Fuck you! She screams before she heaves the liquid sunlight at them. The jar shatters on the one's head and instantly sets him on fire. He screams like he's never screamed in his life. On instinct, he grabs the other thing and accidentally sets him on fire. These big lugs are so fucked. Liquid sunlight's very lethal when out of the jar. Einny and I watch them burn until there's nothing left but their big-ass bones. Then Einny and me turn to face each other. The fire from the burning bodies is still making enough light to where it's bright. I'm sorry, Bells, Einny says. I'm sorry too, I tell her. Then I take her hands. I won't choose Van Diest over you. I told you before, our friendship is more important to me and always will be. Then Einny squeezes my hands. I just don't want to lose you, Bells. You're the only real friend I've got. And you me. She sighs. I wouldn't be a good friend to you if I tried keeping you all to myself. I admit I'm very insecure, but you came for me, so I know and understand now I'll never lose you as a friend. You can go ahead and see where things go with you and Principal Van Diest. Just be careful. If he gets fired over this, there might be a big scandal. Even you don't need that. That's another reason why I'm not ultimately pursuing Van Diest, I tell her. I don't want to ruin his life. As far as the average person is concerned, I'm a teenager. But you need to know, Bells, Einny says. Either that or leave Strickfield High. I smirk. Well, since you won't let me leave Strickfield High... You're coming back to Strickfield with me? Einny asks in anticipation. Duh, I gotta bring you back home. Now, let's get back to the house and get some rest. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I don't want you falling asleep during our big feast. She smiles. Sounds good, Bells. Before we leave, we check the house for any possible survivors. When we don't find any, we head back outside. I use my cheap parlor tricks to set the house ablaze. Nobody needs to stumble upon this home of nightmares ever again. Once it burns to the ground, it's gone. When we're both satisfied, Einny and I head back to my house. Dig in, I tell Einny when I set the platter with her meal down in front of her on Thanksgiving afternoon. I was outside at sunrise and cooking all the turkeys in the big fire pit. I made the rest of the sides in Graham's kitchen, just the way she taught me. I mean, I made everything, from mashed potatoes and gravy, to green beans, to corn, biscuits, and even fresh apple pie for dessert. Einny ate more at my table than she probably has ever before in her life. I also managed to go through the Tabon family library and find Graham's big book of remedies. There are lots and lots of treatments I can whip up for Einny. I'll be taking the book back to Strickfield. So far, the new treatment I whipped up for her yesterday continues to work. I just hope this one will last long enough to where I can maybe find something much better. Or, fingers crossed, maybe even a cure. We spend all of Thanksgiving at my house. On Friday, we leave Ravenhenge and drive back to Strickfield. We have plenty of leftovers from our feast. I silently thank Grams for teaching me the things she did. As Einny and me talk about things, Grams was right about never abandoning your true friends. Einny came back for me when she didn't have to. Yeah, she probably wanted revenge on those things, but she came back for me just like I came for her. Again, I remember what Grams told me about friends. You never abandon your true friends, Bella. Likewise, they will never abandon you. Yeah, I know, I'm a wicked little devil. Grams was the one who named me that, by the way. Still, I feel like I'm becoming more like Grams than I want to let on. She couldn't teach me everything she knew, but she taught me good just the same. As for my feelings, I've still got to consider things with Van Diest, but I won't risk exploring them. Not if it means losing Einny as a friend. Even if he's not worth her friendship, when we cross into Strickfield, I'm already feeling how much I hate this village. At the same time, it's home. Speaking of home, we pull in at the Donnerly house. Yeah, home at last. That's when I realize that wherever Einny and I are together, that's home. Like I said, Einny and me ain't lovers, and now I'm starting to understand what our connection really is. Einny had said what we were in front of her grandmother last summer in Shore City. I look at my very best friend and know that we are a family. The two of us. Yeah, I can bear living in Strickfield for as long as needed, because this village is where my family is. And like Grams would tell you, nothing is more important than your true family. Well, my friends, another violent and vicious story of Bella Tabon that ends on a heartwarming note, which frankly I could use right about now. So, I don't want to lament on my problems, but I do want to mention a huge thank you to everybody who has helped with my dog Chicano's cancer treatment fund. Unfortunately, this week we found out that his cancer has returned, and there's just not a lot we can do. So, what I am doing is treating him like a little king, giving him lots of chicken and treats, and loving on him all the time. He's literally sleeping on my feet right now, keeping them nice and toasty. So thank you to everybody for all the well wishes and all the help. It really means the world to me. But he and I are done fighting, and now we're going to settle into a cozy winter together and see what happens next. That all being said, I want to focus on some positives. We have a lot of fun shows coming up, a lot of awesome content to share with you. And I want to say a very special and heartfelt thank you to our Patreon podcast boosters, folks who pay just a little bit more every month to get their name on the show, and more importantly, keep the spooky rolling on the weekly. And they are Johnny Nix, John Callan, Bobbletopia.com, Megan Hua, Julia Kirsch, Brent McCullough, Steve King, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, and Craig Cohen. And hey, if you want to join them and have your name on the show, just go to weeklyspooky.com and click on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you get an exclusive show every single month and my undead gratitude. And hey, if you're looking for something to watch this Thanksgiving, it's not horror, but my film Awkward Thanksgiving is readily available at Tubi TV, free to watch with ads. So make sure to check that out if you have a little bit of time. I'd appreciate you watching it. But now, I need to get out of here. So for myself, for my executive producer Rob Fields, my producer Dan Wilder, and our composer Ray Mattis, I will catch you next time.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.